Studios. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Olympian Miranda Iam. And Miranda, you've been in these games before. It's the final shot for Canada to book a ticket to the Olympics. What's the mindset for the Canada team going into this game?
First of all, it's a super exciting moment, and you know that, you feel that as soon as you walk into the gym that this is the moment. So these players, Canada needs to be ready from the tip. There's no time to adjust and let a few minutes go by, especially when you're shifting from a team like Hungary and Spain, who are European teams. You're shifting to an Asian style of play against Japan. It's completely different style of play for these players. So they need to get in right from the tip, knowing exactly what the assignment is, what they need to be doing on the floor, so that they can assert their dominance from those first few minutes.
You talk about that Japanese style of play. Can you dive into that a little bit more? What are we expecting to see today that we wouldn't usually see from some of the European teams?
Well, first of all is the speed. We saw a little taste of it with Spain, but Japan is a whole nother level. Ben, I've never been more exhausted playing a game as I have been playing against the Japanese team. They get up and down the floor really, really well. And the other thing that sets them apart is the quickness of their three-point shots. And we saw that against Hungary and Spain as well. Just drop in threes, raining threes. So what Canada needs to do is make sure they get back on transition, make that defense really tight, and make sure that Japan isn't getting any three-point shots.
Yeah, they hit 15 threes in the win over Spain. Shot it a little bit worse in the loss to Hungary, but still hit 9 and shot 33% in that game. The one thing, though, that they trade off with the three-pointers, there's not a ton of size on this Japanese team. What do you think Canada can do to take advantage of that?
Well, what Japan is going to be doing is going to be doubling a lot in the post. But we really need to take advantage of that. Canada still needs to drop it down from high to low, hammer it inside, and hopefully that will also loosen up some open shots on the three for Canada that we haven't hit yet, but I feel like today might be the day.
Yeah, they have been waiting for that big shooting day so far. They shot it well in general against Hungary, but not really from range, and struggled from range against Spain in the loss 2 days ago. Kayla Alexander taking the tip for Canada, and the Canadians will start with the ball. They're in white, Japan is in red, and we are underway, both of these teams, in a win and get in scenario. They go inside early, and the turnaround for Carleton is no good. Here comes Japan for the first time. Speeding up the floor, it's Saori Miyazaki, and she scores early, 2-0 Japan.
Those are a few of the things that we might need to trade off on. We don't want an open layup for sure, but we also don't want an open three. So of those two, I'll take the layup.
Yeah, it's a little bit odd, but they might need to let Japan hit a couple layups today in exchange for not giving them open threes. There's a turnover, though, on Canada. Victor LaPena, the head coach, trying to fire up his team here in this important game. Japan, the number 9 team in the world for the FIBA rankings, and they turn it over right back to Canada.
That's one thing that Japan does really well, is move around their drivers because they're so quick. What can be difficult for Canada in this game is those back cuts at the baseline by the Japanese cutters.
Kayla Alexander hands it off to Carleton. Looking for some help here with under 10 on the shot clock. She flips it inside to Alexander, who catches and scores, and that's got to be a big part of today's game.
That's exactly where we want the ball for Alexander there, coming from the top of the key, not the side of the key, because when you're passing from the wing area, the defense is already built in position, but when you're dropping it down from the top, that's an easy turnaround bucket.
Grab on Canada on that screen right there. I believe it's going to go against Bridget Carleton. It'll be the first foul on the Canadians. Or rather, I think they're going to give it to Naira Fields, who's in the background of that. So now Japan to inbound with 14 on the shot clock. Yamamoto to the free throw line. Mai Yamamoto banks it in. 4-2 Japan. Uncharacteristically, they've gone inside for the first 2 buckets. Shea Cawley brings it over half for Canada. Here's Alexander, hands to Carleton. Finds a lane to drive, but her shot looked like it was impacted by the contest there. Japan comes away with it. 2 minutes into this game, Japan with a 4-2 lead. Mai Yamamoto with the much taller Alexander on her, lobs to the middle of the floor. Maki Takada, turnaround jump shot, short, but the rebound scored into Canada. There is a lot of chaos on rebounds with Japan. They take a lot of deep shots, and that creates long, difficult defensive rebounds.
That's another thing that Canada's wants to contain during this game is those rebounds offensively, defensively, not giving Japan a second shot.
Shea Cauley loses her defender, missed the shot, offensive rebound, Alexander. Carlton with a try, and she draws a foul, make it a Chanwa who's going to the line.
Great aggressiveness by Achanwa. We want to get that ball inside and up in between, always drawing those two defenders.
First foul on the Japanese in this first quarter. Sherm had mentioned it in the pregame show, but rebounding is a huge deal. It was for Hungary yesterday. They out-rebounded Japan by 20, had 15 offensive boards, converted that into almost 20 second chance points.
The other thing about the importance of grabbing the rebounds for Canada is that decreases the likelihood that Japan will get those fast break layups that we saw within the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to get out in transition when the team makes a bucket rather than when you catch a rebound and the defense isn't set. Miyazaki passes, gets it back, wide open for the layup. It's good. And I think you can see Canada really being careful about the three-pointer and giving up some drives. Cauley, pass to the middle. Alexander free throw line jumper, wide right. Kayla Alexander coming off back-to-back double-doubles. Long pass forward. Yamamoto kicks it out. Japan looking for their first three of the game, but it's a little bit off the mark from Miyazaki.
That's exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about those long rebounds. Japan is able to get out and run, and Canada's lucky that they didn't knock down that three there and get the run started.
Fields steps into the lane, pass to Achanwa, takes some contact and scores. We're tied up again. 4 points early on for Natalie Achanwa, who had 7 points, 11 rebounds 2 days ago. Japan burning about half the shot clock. Here's Himawari Akaho, pass back to the right wing. Drive once again, and another layup for Japan. It's another bucket for Mai Yamamoto. All 4 buckets have been layups for the Japanese so far, a little bit out of style for them. Fields slips around Yamamoto, draws the foul. They won't give her continuation. It's an offensive foul, actually, and it's going the other direction.
That call is surprising, but great look by Fields to really, oh, I'm seeing a little push off there, so maybe that was the right call, but great aggression, great look straight to the basket to get it into the heart of the key by Fields there.
Sammy Hill just checked into the game after the foul. Played a lot in game 1 in the win over Hungary. Only played a couple minutes in the loss to Spain. On the right wing, Takada for 3. Long rebound and a back tap, but Canada is on it and trying to push in transition. Hill with a nice save. Carlton slows it down. They want Alexander in the post. Achanwa picks up her dribble and finds Fields. Steps around her defender, and Alexander somehow gets the pass, but the layup no good. And the rebound for Akaho, one of 2 6-footers on this Japan team. Midway point of the first quarter, Japan going inside again. Takada with the layup, 5 layups, and Japan is up 10-6.
I know we said that the layups were something that we could give up in exchange, but Canada at this point needs to pack a little bit and see if they can play between those 2 defenders a little bit more.
Sammy Hill thought she had a layup, but Takada with a nice help block, and Canada will take it from the baseline. And yeah, you don't want to help off the 3-point shooters. That doesn't at the same time mean you want to give up layups. They still do need to adjust.
That's what requires an early anticipation. If you can get an early hedge, so just a step and a hand in the path of that driver, then you're able to recover to the 3-point shooter in time.
Here's Bridget Carlton looking for her first bucket of the game. She releases from deep and it rolls off the rim. Tipped rebound goes to Stephanie Mowley. From the middle of the floor, Yoshida passes to the middle. And that's going to be a foul going against Shayna Pellington, who just checked in a couple minutes ago. Stephanie Mowley, one of two Mowley sisters on this team. We'll see Evelyn Mowley come off the bench as well. And Canada is going to call a timeout. Victor LaPena about to talk to his team. They have had an up and down start. We'll see what he has to say here with Canada down 10-6.
We are very static in defense, in offense, sorry. All of us here. We want to keep Kayla play forward, but play complete and then basket. Okay? Play motion, but play complete and then pick and roll, high-low. Okay?
Let's go to my side then.
Yeah, but it's Kayla and Natalie are all the time here. We don't have a space.
You can hear Victor LaPena there specifically mentioning that high-low action. Natalie Achanwa mentioning bring it to my side. That is a big recipe for success for Canada if they can get Achanwa and Alexander working together.
That is the duo right there. A nice high-low, again, from the middle of the floor, not the side of the floor. But what's also important there is positioning. It looked like Japan had pushed Canada out of their spots a little bit, further away from the basket than we want them to get that ball so Canada can get it right inside.
After the timeout, Japan to inbound. It goes to Takata. Handoff. And Yoshida has it, driving the baseline, looks for a pass and finds Mai Kawai. Now they go inside Mowley, turnaround jumper, off the rim, rebound snatched up by Alexander. She's looking for an outlet, finds Sammy Hill, the 29-year-old from Toronto. Here's Achanwa. Handoff Carlton, Shayna Pellington on the right wing, and now Sammy Hill. Gets a step on Yoshida, bounce down low, Alexander for to shoot, forces it up and scores! And one, Kayla Alexander. It's a two-point game.
Great finish by Kayla Alexander there. One thing that I noticed that Hungary did a really great job of, and I'd love to see Canada replicate today, is those lob passes inside. We saw that there was just a bounce pass there, and Kayla was able to grab it and go up, but life is so much easier when you get the ball high and you're able to just turn and put it up, especially when you have so many small players coming in wanting to steal that ball.
And the player that was on her, Maki Takata, 34-year-old, one of the leaders of this Japanese team, just picked up her second foul. That's something to watch as Alexander completes the three-point play. Now Japan's going to check it in from the baseline. Canada applying a little bit of full court pressure here. What do you think about that?
I think it's a good change-up to see what Japan will do there. We just need to continue to...
Mowley misses the lefty layup. Canada with a chance for a lead. Pellington down the middle of the floor, draws the foul. She'll head to the line. Nearly had back-to-back and once.
Looks like that's exactly what Victor LaPena was wanting out of that full court press.
Foul there is going to go on Evelyn Mowley. And just inches away from falling into the cup. Pellington misses the first here. Another free throw with a chance to tie it. 24-year-old split her college days at Oklahoma and Arizona. And it's an empty trip to the line, but Alexander scoops it up for Canada. Pellington to Fields for three. Got it! And Canada's on top by two. It's a 6-0 run out of the timeout.
That'll be key for Canada as well today, especially when Japan starts to collapse, hit it out to those shooters, knock it down.
Japan hasn't hit a three yet. I don't think many people would have bet that Canada would hit the first three-pointer of the game. Right now it's Yoshida on the right wing, going up against Leticia Amaher, and now a contested shot, no good. Offensive rebound, Stephanie Mowley. And there's going to be no shot here. I believe that there was a foul. Yes, there was going to be a grab going against Shea Colley, or Shayna Pellington rather, before that drive ever happened. There you see the right hand of Pellington kind of grabbed Mowley. I believe that's where the foul was rather than the driver. Late stages of the first quarter, and Japan with a drive right down the right side of the lane. It's Miyazaki with her 6th points of the game now. 3rd layup she's made.
It's tough with this kind of defense that Canada's put in, trying to guard the 3. You're going over all of those screens, so you see Canadian players trailing almost their players, but Japan doing a great job of turning and getting to the basket with their defender behind them.
They are forcing Japan, though, to play out of their style. Maybe that'll benefit Canada, who has Hill shoot the 3 at the end of the shot clock. That's going to be a shot clock violation. It's interesting, head coach Toru Onzuka of Japan said specifically after their loss that they didn't play their own style against Hungary, and, quote, we look to play Japan's style of basketball throughout the 40 minutes against Canada, end quote. They're tied in this game. I'm not sure they've played Japan's style, though, so far.
You got to give what the game gives you as well. You can come in with your game plan, be as prepared as possible, but also if Canada's giving you layups, you got to take those layups.
Here's Saori Miyazaki, leading scorer for Japan. Nice play run there, and an open layup for Hayashi. Saki Hayashi set the screen, handed it off, and rolled all the way to the hoop.
Beautiful screen, beautiful play.
And a foul called. Shea Colley was trying to get over half. It's going to be a foul against Japan. That's the 4th Japanese foul of the first quarter. Colley up top. Canada looking to tie. Baseline drive. Carlton sends it back. Achanwa driving her defender toward the hoop, and she lays it in. Natalie Achanwa up to 6 points. Miyazaki, floater in the lane. No one really picked up the ball, and she scores easily. Game's leading scorer at 8 points. The other way, Colley. Bounce to Alexander, make it Amihere, and one! Leticia Amihere with the hoop in the horn.
Great patience by Amihere to do that fake, let that defender go past you, and then hammer up with that power, balanced, making sure that you're able to finish that shot.
The 22-year-old has been huge off the bench in now 3 games for Canada. Came up with 8 points and 5 rebounds in 18 minutes 2 days ago. Free throw good for Amihere. Canada in front. Stephanie Mowley carries it over half. Picked up by Achanwa. Miyazaki. They're shading her heavily to the right side. And they double when she went to drive left. Nice pass into the key. Evelyn Mowley rejected. Kayla Alexander, no, Leticia Amihere, pardon me, with the block right there. Big plays on both sides of the floor, and that's a great recovery to get in the way.
That's the advantage that Canada has here. That was a great back cut there, but just length of arm.
And Japan draws a foul right off the inbound. Only had 5 to shoot. And Saki Hayashi drew a little contact there on the short corner jumper, so she'll go to the line. The 28-year-old is in her 7th professional season with the Ineos Sunflowers in the WJBL, the Japanese league in Japan. It's kind of 3 teams that almost all these players come from. The Toyota Antelopes, who lead the league, the Sunflowers, who are 2nd place in the league, and then Denso Iris, who's 3rd in the league. And it's basically an all-star team of all these players.
It's a definite advantage for Japan, and some of the other teams. Spain as well has a lot of players playing professionally on the same team, can able to get into a rhythm.
Colley with the follow-away layup, no good. Achanwa puts it back in to put Canada back in front. Miyazaki kicks it back out, near deflection there for Amihere. Getting physical with Mowley, who drives to the hoop. First bucket of the day for Evelyn Mowley. She had 20 off the bench in Japan's win over Spain. Lots of lead changes early on. Amihere bowls over her defender. And it's going to be a foul on Japan, and I believe that will bring Amihare to the line. It will. Canada with a clear physical advantage. Amihare listed at 6'4", and no one taller than 6 foot on this Japan roster.
You can see both Amihare and Natalie Achanwa putting their heads down, being patient, being aggressive, and taking to either to the basket or to the free throw line. We'll take either of those.
First one missed by Amihare. Canadians are 4 for 6 so far from the line, making 4 for 7 actually after that miss. And there the make ties it up. This has been a tight first quarter and a timeout called, or no, just a substitution here with 34 seconds to go. They're going to bring Kayla Alexander back into the game, who has 5 first quarter points. Inbound to Mali. Japan not looking in a rush here to go 2 for 1. Miyazaki guarded up top by Collin. Under 10 on the shot clock as Japan initiates. Miyazaki looking for a drive. They got to get it up soon here. 2 to shoot. The turnaround jumper's no good. A rebound for Alexander, and 10 seconds for Canada after the Sakura Noguchi miss. Carlton looking to get something off before the buzzer. 1 to shoot, and the ball poked away. That will end the first quarter. Very tight frame, and we end tied 20-20 in this win and get in game. Canada pounding the rock inside. Kayla Alexander and Natalie Achanwa look to do more when we return.
Angry Whopper is back, and that makes me happy. And angry. Happy.
Next up, Jim. He's making those dumbbells look smart. He takes the snap. Tons of contact, but will it be enough? And finally...
Just like this one that just went in there.
My Kawhi with the leg.
Point is to assert that lead a little bit more, increase that gap, take away some of those layups like this one that just went in there.
My Kawhi with the layup. And Japan takes the lead. They had 8 layups in the first quarter. 16 of their 20 points came off layups, and pretty sure everything else came from the line.
And not just layups, I'd say wide open layups, which makes it a bit tough to, when you're working so hard on the offensive side, to come back, and it's a bit of a deflating experience.
Shea Colley comes up with it. And the ball's still on the floor. What a frantic possession there. Now Canada trying to scramble to get back on defense. Japan with numbers. Mauli's open in the key, and she scores. Her sister found her. It was Evelyn to Stephanie, and Japan has a 4-point lead. Carlton trying to fight through defender to get over to Colley, who instead goes to the post, and Alexander was fouled. That was an early double they had on Alexander. Before she even received the pass, 2 defenders were on it.
Very early. Again, if we're talking about positioning and putting your bigs in a great spot, making sure that Canada gets that ball to Alexander in the black, in the key.
They charge the foul to Asami Yoshida. Achanwa looking for Alexander. He's going to flip it over to the right side, Collin. Alexander screens, only 4 to shoot. They go into her, and she goes up with the right and scores. That was a tough shot with 2 defenders on her.
I thought it was 1 against 4, honestly. That was a lot of collapsing defenders in on there.
7 points now for Kayla Alexander. The drive from Evelyn Mowley draws a foul off Natalie Achanwa. Had about half a step, and it kind of threw her body into her, leveraged Achanwa's weight, and drew the foul.
Absolutely, you can see Achanwa bringing Team Canada together there. Probably talking about those layups. Took it upon herself to stop So that definitely wasn't an open layup.
First free throw for Mowley is good. Because this is a smaller team, when they run into you, they fall over a lot of the time, regardless of who it is on Canada, and they're going to draw a lot of fouls that way. Lots of noise in the crowd there, but Mowley makes both free throws amid that noise. And Canada's going to bring on Ivan Ejim into the game. Nako Motohashi coming into the game. This is interesting. She hasn't played in either of the two previous games. Gets her first appearance of the tournament in Japan's most important game. Naira Fields up top, guarded tightly by Asami Yoshida, who pokes it away for a moment. 10 to shoot for Canada. Alexander feeds the post, and there's going to be a foul in the post. A grab there by Motohashi on Carleton.
Great opportunity for Canada here when the defense is collapsing a lot. Get a lot of those fakes and hit your shooters.
Inbound to the middle. Alexander spins and scores. Nearing double digits here early in the second quarter. 2 minutes into the second frame, Japan outscoring Canada 6-4 in the quarter. Ejim guards the ball, now it goes to the top of the key, and Mowley hits the jumper. One of the first shots we've seen from range for Japan today. Evelyn Mowley up to 6 points. From the corner, Carleton for three. Big bucket for Canada. Back down one. Motohashi takes it back outside. Now a bounce to Stephanie Mowley in the middle, guarded by Fields, and she draws an offensive foul. Never mind, offensive foul on Mowley. Canada takes it the other way. They get her on the wraparound through that left arm behind the back of Fields.
Japan doing a really good job forcing the switch by Canada, getting that mismatch inside. Fields doing a good job of staying down and getting that foul.
Fouls are racking up a little bit for Japan early on in this game. That's their 9th foul already. Canada with a chance here maybe in the second quarter to get some early free throws. They just get over half in time. And now Alexander has it on the left wing, looking for Carleton, who just hit her first bucket of the game. Around an Alexander screen, she's rolling to the hoop. Carleton wants the shot, and it rolls in. That was the exact kind of shot that was rolling out yesterday, but the bounce is going Carleton's way today.
That's got to feel good both for Bridget and for Team Canada to loosen up some of that defense too.
Yeah, 5 points already for Carleton. She had 5 against Spain. Drive on the right side and a foul going against Ejim as Miyazaki was going to the hoop. Saori Miyazaki has had quite the start to the game. Leading Japan in points with 8 right now. Coming off a couple of good performances in the last 2 games. In the most recent matchup against Hungary, she had 15 points and 6 assists. Both of those led the team. Makes both free throws, and the lead just keeps swinging back and forth in the first half. Japan up 1.
Well, selfishly, that's what you want in a game like this as a viewer. An exciting game, back and forth, but for each of these teams, they want a decisive win.
Alexander kicks it out. Extra pass. Corner 3. Just off the mark, but Alexander reels it in. Canada with a fresh 14. Carleton on the left wing looking for help. Alexander over to Swords. Same 3 once again. This time it's short. And it's a rebound for Miyazaki. Japan out and running. But Canada getting back, and Japan has played a lot against the set Canadian defense. 3 on the way. It's good. First triple of the day. Evelyn Mowley.
Mowley had a great game against Spain the other day, so I'm wondering if that confidence is going to transfer over into this game and start knocking down those threes against Canada.
Yeah, it was the team leader in points with 20 off the bench, tied for the team leader. Fields looking for Alexander. Double comes. Scoop to the hoop, no good, and a foul on the rebound. Akaho came down with it, and she was knocked off her feet on the way back to the floor. Yvonne Ejim going to get charged with her second foul. Kaho, one of the few Japanese players with size, 6 feet, maybe 6'1". Had a big game in the 2022 World Cup qualifiers against Canada. Canadians were up double digits. She scored 15 points in the fourth quarter in overtime to help Japan steal a win. Now she's driving the left side and puts it off the window and in. Canada's going to call a timeout, down 6. This is the largest lead tied for it by Japan. They've had a little bit of a mini run here in the second quarter, and Victor Lepeña is going to speak to his team.
We need Bridget here. Okay? When we play cross the screen, we need Bridget here. Is that here? Or here? In the corner. They come from Bridget, kick out Bridget. Okay? We need to play, please. Can we play hold down just one? Yeah, hold down. Stop. Be here or continue playing this.
Evelyn Mowley providing a spark recently for Japan. Hit that long jumper from the top of the key, then hit the triple. But they just show the Japanese numbers. They've only attempted 3 3-pointers, which usually would be a good thing, but they're shooting almost 65% from the field in this game.
You talk about efficiency. Usually Japan is very efficient from the threes. Today, they're very efficient from the twos, and normally you don't want to trade threes and twos, but if the twos are knocking down, I guess they're going to continue down that route.
Canada has hit a couple of threes, Bridget Carleton with one of them, and the Canadians will inbound here. Japan applying full court pressure. They get it in, but it's deflected, and it's off of Carleton. Japan ball. That's a disaster coming out of a timeout for Canada. Miyazaki inbounds and takes a handoff back. She gets a step. Mowley with the left wing three. Got it. Finally, Canada helped on a layup, and it was Mowley wide open on the left wing to hit another three.
You can see why Canada is reticent to help on that, because that leads to that wide open by someone who's already hot and hitting it down.
Miyazaki swarming Sammy Hill, but she gets it inside. Achanwa missed the first, but makes the second. And Canada quiets down that Japan run as Natalie Achanwa is into double figures.
Beautiful top-down pass from Hill to Achanwa there.
Akaho turning a corner, goes up against Achanwa, and it bounces in. 4 points for Himiwari Akaho. Now it's Fields going to the hoop. A little Euro step, and she flips it over top. First made bucket today for Naira Fields. And it looks like another timeout. This time, Japan will take a break. Canada down 7, trying to weather the storm. Japan shooting really well in this second quarter. We'll see if Canada can stop it on the other side. On February 23rd on Sportsnet Plus, Canada versus Nicaragua in an AmeriCup qualifier game, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, and there are still tickets available for as low as $30. Visit basketball.ca for more info. The men's team booked a trip to Paris in the summer. The women's team trying to do the same today, win and get in against Japan, but it has been a very tough Japanese offense to stop early on, and they draw a foul right out of the timeout.
We knew that this was going to be a tough game. This is a formidable opponent, and right now it's coming down to the defense on Canada's side.
A lot of open layups and recently a couple made threes for Japan. A steal there, though. Some good defense by Achanwa, who bounces it ahead. into the key. Colley with the left, no good. Amiher tips it up and Fields puts it in. And Canada comes up with 2 to make it a 5-point game.
That's going to be on the highlight reel for sure. That's got to feel good for Team Canada at this moment.
Driving the other way, Akaho draws the foul. Achanwa bumping into her into the key. That was great pursuit by Canada too. Not only was Colley darting down the floor with the ball, but Amiher and Fields trailing in case that exact situation happened.
Following up to the very last minute. It's not over till it's over.
Kayla Alexander comes into the game. Achanwa comes out. Alexander with 9 first-half points. Akaho at the line now as Canada's committed 5 fouls. First one bounces in. Imiwari Akaho debuted for the Japanese senior national team in 2018. Was part of that Olympic silver run. 9 points per game, 7 rebounds per game. As Japan ended up shocking a lot of people and making that run all the way to the final against the United States. Swarming defense from Yoshida. Fields behind the back. Looking for Alexander, instead finds Amiher, who goes down low. Alexander's turnaround is good. She has 11 points to lead Canada.
Canada being really patient on setting up that horns down defense and getting that ball inside from post to post.
Mowley driving left, rejected by Amiher. Limited time for Japan to get a shot up. Yamamoto looking for a pass inside, puts it up from 3, and it's a rebound for Canada. Great defense on that possession. Amiher with 2 big blocks already in this game. Fields kicked out, but it's intercepted. Here comes Yamamoto the other way. Into the key, turns it back, looking for help. Akaho for 3. And it's short. Canada catches a break, as that was a pretty good look.
I'm curious if Canada shifts its defensive tactic a little bit at this point, not giving an open 3, but at least taking 1 step back and letting them beat you around the arc as opposed to those open layups that we've been seeing.
Only 2 made 3s so far for Japan, and Amiher puts it in from the left side of the hoop. And it's a 1-possession game once again. Evelyn Mowley, the only Japanese player to make a 3 so far. Driving right down the left side of the floor. Another rejection by Amiher. Swats away Hayashi. Fields has it poked away. Last touch Canada, and it's a turnover. Japan takes it back.
You can see the momentum shifting ever so slightly from Japan to Canada here with just a 3-point gap.
And that one-on-one defense, especially in the key, seems to be getting better for Canada. And that's the 3rd block of this first half for Leticia Amiher. Japan bringing Miyazaki, Takata back in the game, 2 of their starters. Miyazaki has the ball right now. Screen from Stephanie Mowley. Miyazaki fakes the pass and drives in, and she's done that a handful of times today already. 12 points for Saori Miyazaki. Pass to the middle of the floor, a little miscommunication, but Amiher has it. Now Shayna Pellington, less than 10 to shoot. Pellington trying to get inside. Turns and puts it up with the right. It's a little bit short, and it's Japan's ball. Under 90 seconds to go in the first half. Japan by 5. Miyazaki sends it back outside. And now a swing over to the left wing. Yamamoto for 3, and it rolls in. Huge shot for Japan. They're back up by 8 now.
Great defense by Japan, up, not making anything easy, forcing those turnovers to those shots.
Colley runs into a fender and scores! And 1. Perfect response for Canada. Shea Colley just went on a straight line drive right down the center of the court.
Another pivotal moment in the game with 1 minute left. This is when you want to make sure that that gap is getting as close as possible going into half court mentally.
Japan wants a timeout here. It's 47-41, Japan over Canada, but still a lot to be decided in this win and get in game at the Chopron Olympic qualifying tournament. The Kings and Thunder meet in Oklahoma City this afternoon. Watch the action live at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific on Sportsnet 1. Two members of Canada's senior men's national team, Lucan Stort and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, on Oklahoma City. Here the women's national team down by 5 after the Shea Colley and 1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside the Olympian Miranda Iron. A minute to go here after the Japan timeout. Up top, it's Saori Miyazaki with 12 points in the game. Miyazaki stops and pops from 3. It's too long though, and Canada with the rebound. Long pass ahead. Carlton drives the baseline, steps around her defender, and draws the foul. Went spilling down to the floor, but she's all right and headed to the free throw line.
Tough pass up the court, but gets the defense shifting and gets Bridget an opportunity to get to the basket there.
A lot of contact on that layup. Miyazaki was the one called for the foul. First trip to the line today for Carlton. 26-year-old from Chatham, Ontario. Japan has led by as many as 9 in this first half, but Canada in the last couple of minutes has shaved that deficit down and got it pretty close here if they can get a stop before half.
Especially for Canada, if your outside shots aren't falling, you want to make sure that you're getting to the line and getting those easy shots like Japan is on the other side as well.
7 points now for Carlton after the made free throws. Canada going to apply some full court pressure once again. Goes into Akaho. And Amihere is keeping up with her over half. Yamamoto. Hanging out near half. Takata flashes up to set the screen. Yamamoto takes the open 3 and hits. Gave her a couple feet of space and Yamamoto cashed in. Now Canada with 10 seconds. Sammy Hill sprints over half. Trying to get to the hoop, draws a foul. Smart decision, good job there by Hill when she had Takata off balance. And I believe that's the 3rd foul on Mai Takata here coming in the first half, and Sammy Hill will get to the line.
That's a foul that works in Canada's advantage for sure. Takata being a very senior, a vet for Japan, has been with them for many, many years, is one of those forces on the team that's maybe a little bit subtler, maybe a little bit quieter, but makes an impact in big games.
Hill hits the first free throw to get on the board today. Takata was the leading scorer in the silver medal run for Japan. 14 points per game. It was a well-balanced team, but she had the most. She shot over 50% from 3 in those Olympics.
Definitely not quiet there.
No, but it's big for Canada if they can keep her quiet and keep her on the sidelines as much as possible today. Inbound pass with 2 seconds to go. Miyazaki launches full court, and it's off the backboard and out to end a very contested first half. Canada leading by 4. The play inside has been a big deal, but can they stop Japan? We'll find out when Danielle and Sherm discuss it. More coming up on Sportsnet.
Welcome back. Kayla Alexander coming off double-double performances in both of Canada's first 2 games. She has 11.6 rebounds at the half for Canada, who trail 50-46 at the half and have some work to do in the second half. Sherm, coming into this one, Japan a major threat from distance. They hit 15 in their opening game. They added 9 against Hungary. But in this one, the defensive approach Canada had on them was letting them waltz right on through and get easy layups. What was wrong there for Canada?
Well, it seems like Japan's reputation preceded them, and you could see that Japan knew that Canada was going to pay attention to the three-point line. Well, they started to attack. They started to get to the basket. They're lifting their offense, and they're playing 4 out, and they're forcing Canada to have to commit from the weak side to come in to help. Well, that puts their three-point game into play because now they can move the ball, they can swing it and get open looks. But Canada has to respond. Keep the ball in front of you. 12 layups in that first half, untouched by Japan. You're not going to win a game where you're giving up straight line drives to the basket, and Japan has taken advantage of that in the first half.
And we talked about the size advantage that Canada would have, yet points in the paint at the half are dead even.
Didn't expect that.
No, a little bit surprising. And when Victor LaPena called that timeout in the first quarter, you couldn't hear it totally clearly, but the directive was obvious. Hit Kayla, hit Natalie, work in the paint high-low.
And it seems like it's common sense when you talk about how dominant she's been, producing double-doubles in every game. In this game, she's on her way to another double-double with 11 and 6, as you mentioned. But it's a distinct advantage. But what Japan has done to try and neutralize that advantage is they're putting so much pressure on Canada's guards that they're struggling to get into offense, into range to get her the ball. But when Kayla gets the ball, it's a bucket. They've got to continue to feed her.
We are moments away from the most important half that Canada has had in at least a couple years. An Olympic berth on the line, down by 4 against Japan. Hi, everybody. Welcome back into the Sportsnet studios. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Olympian Miranda Iam. And Canada's offense chugging along, but 50 first-half points for Japan. What can Canada do to adjust?
Well, they say defense wins championships, and it certainly wins games, and that's what we need from Canada right here. Canada needs to focus on that, specifically one-on-one defense, because the team defense, the help side that we've been talking about, it's tough against a team like Japan who are hitting those threes. So really hard one-on-one defense, ball screen defense, making sure that everything is difficult for Japan here.
The book on Japan coming in, a lot of threes, but they have kind of used that in their favor and drove a ton against the tight defense that Canada has applied. Canadians start with the ball. Carlton hands it off. And now Achanwa trying to find Carlton in the post. Instead goes to Alexander. Now they feed Carlton, who misses the layup, gets it back, missed again. Third chance, rolls off the right side, and it's rebounded by Akaho. Steal for Canada on the outlet pass. Achanwa takes a try. She misses the first. Second one rolls off the rim. Mowley has it. Achanwa steals it back. Another shot, no good. And on maybe the millionth opportunity, they get the point there. I don't know if that counts as a second chance point, but hard offensive rebounding from Canada.
Talk about padding the stats, but Canada got it done there and needed that breath of energy headed into the second half.
Achanwa with a big first half. She now has 12 points. 11 offensive rebounds for Canada. Achanwa tipped it, but Miyazaki got it back, and the three is off the mark, and the rebound tipped to Alexander. We'll see if Canada adjusts when they're back on defense and maybe allows a few more three-point attempts in exchange for being tougher on the layups. Here's Fields driving all the way to the rim. She ties it up. And a minute 15 into this third quarter, Canada and Japan are even.
Exactly. And when we're talking about adjustments, we're not talking about big ones. It's just micro, maybe a half a step back to give them an advantage on staying in front of those fast guards on Japan's side.
Canada has to switch on the screen. Three on the way from deep. It's no good. And Carlton with the rebound off the Mai Yamamoto miss. Canada with a big rebounding advantage on Japan in this game. That's what they need. Backdoor cut Carlton. Beautiful feed at Chanwa. And Canada on top. 6-0 run to start the third quarter. Mowley looking for a Japanese lead. Shot is short. 3 missed threes for Japan coming out of the half.
Which might bode well for that bit of an adjustment on Canada's side, staying in front and allowing 1 or 2 more opportunities around the three-point line.
Fields to the free throw line. Backing up her defender, Miyazaki. Pushes her back a little bit, but the jumper is short to rebound for Akaho. Miyazaki options it ahead. Now in the middle, Akaho turns around instead of driving at Achanwa. Yamamoto driving to the baseline. Achanwa switches to pick her up. 10 to shoot. In the middle, Evelyn Mowley feeds over the top to Akaho, and Fields, giving up some size there, had to commit a foul.
That's that switch that Japan did a great job on forcing Canada to take in that first, I believe it was the first quarter, getting a lot of those switches and high-low passes like we see here.
Pardon me, Shea Colley, not Naira Fields, charged with the foul. Fouls will be something to watch in this half. That's the 11th Canadian foul, and Japan with 12. In the middle right now, free throw line jumper Stephanie Mowley, wide left, and a foul under the hoop. And I believe that's going to go against Colley again. And that will be the second on Shea Colley. Pardon me, the third. An 8-0 run for Canada coming out of the break. Miyazaki sends it outside. Now the drive by Yamamoto, and the run is over as Mai Yamamoto puts it off the window to tie us back up. Achanwa hands it off. Kayla Alexander trying to get free in the post. They go to Carlton, contested jumper. She was hit, and she'll go to the line. It's been a much improved offensive day today from 2 days ago for Bridget Carlton.
Absolutely. One thing that Bridget has been doing really well is continuing to take her shot. Sometimes in a game where it's not fallen like it was in the previous game, can get a little discouraged. Carlton staying with what she knows she can do.
The right hand there of the defender Hayashi looked like it hit the right elbow of Carlton in the shooting motion, but the first free throw falls off the rim. Canada 10 for 14 from the line, just above 70%. Second one is good, and Canada on top again. Bridget Carlton in double figures. This has a feel that it's going to be close the whole time, regardless of who's leading. There hasn't been a double-digit lead yet today.
Absolutely. When you're playing the best in the world, you're not going to get a blowout.
Yamamoto to the left side. Contested runner no good. Achanwa rebounds and brings it up the floor. Fields bounce to the short corner. Achanwa fakes the shot, drives inside, kick out. Fields for three. Short. Alexander tips it up, but good team rebounding by Japan. Takada comes in. Now a cutting Mowley beating Alexander down the floor, missed the layup. Achanwa charged with the foul. She can't believe it, palms up to the sky.
Japan's advantage here is getting those turnovers, getting those fobbled rebounds, if you will, and getting out and running. On the flip side, Canada wants that ball, dead ball situations essentially, either off a score, off a solid rebound where you're able to set it up and then get it inside.
That was the third on Achanwa, so she is going to have to take a seat. That is definitely something to watch here. Still over 16 minutes to play in this game. Natalie Achanwa only has 2 more fouls to give, and they need her on the floor as much as possible.
Yeah, as you mentioned, fouls can play a game in a game like this. Being strategic and getting the ball on the opposite side for Canada, maybe taking it at some of those Japanese players like Takada, who has 3 fouls. You want to get her off the floor like Achanwa is right now, and that gives you a distinct advantage.
Stephanie Mowley just missed the first free throw of the day for Japan. She hits the second. There was a Canadian lane violation, but the free throw counts anyway. Leticia Amihere comes in for Achanwa. She has played great today. 3 blocks in the first half off the bench. Getting some room for Sammy Hill, who has the ball, and sends it over to Fields. Fields drives, kicks to Hill, 6 to shoot. Hill into the key, driving at the hoop. The two-handed layup is good from the left side, and Sammy Hill has 3 points today. Yoshida to Mowley for 3, swish! Stephanie Mowley from range, and Japan is back in front. 3 threes from the Mowley sisters so far today. 3 of Japan's 5 makes from deep.
Japan can be quite lethal on that flare screen to the side of the court.
Carlton pulls up in the key and scores. A nice bucket there to get Canada the lead once again, 57-56. Yoshida wraps around a pass to Takada, who nearly had the and one. Hill commits the foul, and Takada is at the line. Really nice pass there from Yoshida.
Absolutely. Japan being really effective with those high ball screens in the middle of the floor, making defense really difficult for Canada to either come and help and give up the 3 or stay on their player and give up that layup.
The 34-year-old Takada at the line. And the first one's good to tie us up. It's it's kind of a pick your poison when they get these switches and you likely have someone faster than you that you're guarding. If you step back, they have an open three. If you guard close, a lot of the time they beat you to the hoop like Takada just did. And now Japan in front again as Evelyn Mowley's going to come back into the game. Halfway through this third quarter, a very high-scoring game between Canada and Japan. The Japanese have played most of the highest-scoring games in this tournament so far. Here's Alexander up top, handoff Carlton. Alexander goes to the hoop, Carlton driving there, thought she was hit, she was. Bridget Carlton back to the free throw line for her 5th and 6th free throws of the day.
Could be interesting for Team Canada here to play or lean into the intense defense that Japan has been giving out. We had a beautiful backdoor cut by Bridget Carlton earlier that just opened up a layup. When you have a tough defense, making them lay off a little bit and cutting into the basket with those kind of moves have been really, really useful in the past.
Carlton misses the first, second one to tie it again. It's good. Japan just bringing on Aika Hiroshita for the first time today, 22-year-old wearing 31 in red. Yoshida around a screen, Mowley driving to the hoop. Canada gets a hand on the pass, but her sister Evelyn Mowley scoops it off the floor and scores. Canada read that one all the way, but just an unlucky bounce. Myra Fields, screen comes from Amihere. And she'll re-screen. Double on Fields for the moment. Open shooter, Hill for three. And it just hits the heel of the rim and bounces off. Japan now trying to build on the lead. Yamamoto sidestep three. Cash. My Yamamoto from range, and Japan back up 5. Canada needs a timeout. They made a big run to tie it and take the lead. Now Victor LaPena will address his team as they've fallen into a 5-point hole. Victor LaPena right now talking to his team. What kind of things do you want to hear right now if you're trying to get some momentum going here late in this game?
Absolutely. We saw Canada being pushed out again. This is something that we said in the first half, I believe. Being pushed out of the positions that they want to be. But when you're bigger than the team, when you're more physical than the team, you kind of need to assert what you want to do. And I think Canada's maybe being a little bit more lax than they want to be as far as positioning, setup, doing the early work, get what they need to get to where they need to be. So whether that's harder screens, whether that's harder cross screens for the post to get to where they need to be, I think just a higher level of physicality in this third quarter.
Canada started the third quarter off and running. We're down by 4 coming out of the break. Ended up by 2 at one point, but Japan now outscoring Canada 13-12 in the third. Bridget Carlton has been a big driver of the offense all game and in this second half. We'll see what she has here on this first offensive possession for Canada coming out of the timeout. Achanwa back on the floor. Shea Colley carrying it over half. They go to Carlton early. Hand off to Colley. And a pass to the middle, Amihere. Now Carlton, Amihere streaking down the key instead of Achanwa. Inside to Amihere, trying to face the hoop, gets fouled, and will head to the free throw line. Canada doing a good job of reversing the ball and getting some different angles to try and get that entry pass to the post.
And you can see how worried Japan is about the posts coming from Canada. That's 4 red in the key that you see there against 1 Leticia Amihere getting it up.
First foul today on Mai Yamamoto. Strong performance once again for Leticia Amihere. 6 points so far, 3 blocks, a rebound, and an assist. They get 7 points after that make. 22-year-old from Mississauga just completed her first season in the WNBA with the Atlanta Dream, was the 8th overall pick in 2023. And she hits a pair to make it a 3-point game. Saori Miyazaki scored 10 points in the first quarter of this game, has been quieter since. Crossover right screen from Akaho. Canada switches, 3 from Miyazaki, air ball, rebound Canada, and they're pushing the pace up the floor. Long lead pass into the key, Achanwa saves it. Kick out, Carlton fakes, now takes, and we're tied. Bridget Carlton from the left wing. Canada right back in it. Japan with a timeout after some beautiful Canadian ball movement, and no one can wrestle control this game. With 3.5 minutes left in the third, we are tied in Chopra. Chatham, Ontario's Bridget Carlton with 9 third quarter points, including this 3 a moment ago, to tie the game at 63. She has been colossal for Canada all game.
Absolutely, stepping up, taking her time, not rushing on her shot there, gathering herself and getting it up.
Appreciate you spending your Super Bowl Sunday morning with us. I'm Ben Schulman alongside the Olympian Miranda Iam, and a foul under the hoop. That's going to go against Naira Fields. And that will send Japan right to the free throw line. Evelyn Mowley was knocked over in the key.
Tough foul by Canada when Japan is hitting almost all of their free throws at this point.
Yeah, they've missed 1 so far today. They're 11 for 12 from the line. And they just got tangled up under the hoop there. Mowley converts the first. This game has swung back and forth like crazy. 12 lead changes, although Japan has spent the majority of the game in the front. Canada has only had about 3 or 4 minutes of time leading the game so far, and Japan is ahead once again here by 2. Fields bounces to the middle, it's Carlton. She's going to hand it off to Colley. Amiher cuts to the hoop. Nice feed. Spins. And missed it with the left. Second chance is put in by Fields. We're tied again.
Again, that patience under the basket by Canada to gather themselves and get back up.
Corner 3, short. Carlton with the rebound. And it was impressive. Amiher, a lot of bigs would have run over the defender there and gotten a charge, but she stopped and spun. Now they go inside again. This one intercepted. Japan with a transition opportunity. All alone. Hiroshita blocked from behind. What a takeaway. What hustle from Shea Colley, getting back on defense to keep this game 65-65. And you can't teach that.
No, you can see the passion arising at this moment. Both teams are feeling, they know it's a crux moment between Japan and Canada.
They actually end up calling it a foul. My mistake.
Thought so. By the look on Shea's face, it looked like it might go the other way, which is tough when you put that hustle forward to get back and get that block. Still
a great play. Still makes Japan earn it at the line, although 4 fouls on Colley is concerning. Who will probably have to sit now for a couple of minutes for the fourth quarter. Here's Shida with her first bucket of the day. 22-year-old 5'10" forward. Another player. She hasn't not played entirely like Motohashi, but another player who hasn't played a ton in the previous 2 games, who's getting more run here in Japan's most important game of the tournament. It's interesting to see how the Japanese have deployed the roster so far. To the middle, Achanwa, bounce into the post. Amiher trying to get some space. The shot was affected, but she corrals the offensive board and somehow kicks it back out. Japan fans want it out of bounds. They're booing. They do get a deflection out of bounds. That will have Canada at 7 on the shot clock. But I think what we're hearing is a lot of upset Japanese supporters who thought that Japan was getting the ball back there.
Yeah, a lot of deflections, a lot of rebounds, a lot of touches, but that bodes well for Canada on this side, still getting it inside and getting some shot opportunities.
Achanwa pass too far for Carlton, was leading her to the corner. And that's a turnover on Canada. They protected the ball pretty well today. That's their 9th turnover, though. As you can see, Japan has really protected the ball today. 4 turnovers in almost 3 full quarters Takata faking a three and kicking it back outside. Yamamoto. Screen coming from Takata. Switch at Chanwa guarding. Not a lot of time to shoot. Yamamoto passes and gets it back. Has to hoist the three, and they get it. Chanwa on a foul there. And a lot of noise now inside the Hungarian arena. One notable thing here, if Canada wins, Hungary also qualifies, because even if they were to lose, they would beat Japan in a head-to-head tiebreaker. So there might be some Hungarian fans angrily cheering at a foul in support of Canada right now, because they could have their fate decided before their game is underway. First free throw made by Yamamoto. Regardless of who wins this game, two teams are going to punch a ticket as a result, and there'll still be one more slot up for grabs. Yamamoto makes the second of three.
It's a tough foul for Canada, especially with Natalie now having 4 personal fouls and having to sit probably for the rest of this quarter and well into the fourth, depending on what Victor LaPena decides strategically there.
Yeah, having both the Chanwa and Colley off the floor right now is a difficult position for Canada. They're going to have to rely a lot upon Kayla Alexander, who just inbounded it, and Sammy Hill playing some point guard for Canada right now with Colley out of the game. Hill bounces to Amihere, and a foul off the ball. Carlton was trying to come up to receive a pass, and they're going to get Hiroshita there for the reach. Under 90 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Canada entered the quarter down by 4, now trail by 5. Hill to Carlton. Amihere to screen. Carlton from the left elbow, and it's off the right side of the rim and rolls off. Yamamoto to the front court. Gets a switch and passes to Mowley, guarded in the post by Fields. Nearly lost it and kicks it out. Canada wanted to travel, a double dribble, something there. Now Yamamoto down the right side of the lane, missed the shot, and Canada with the rebound. Alexander brings it in for her 8th rebound today. A minute left in the third quarter. Fields going at Yamamoto, pulls up in her face and hits. Nice jumper for Naira Fields, who has 10 points.
Just created something out of nothing. That defense was really spread.
In the response, Yoshida missed the shot. Canada with some time here, 30 seconds to go. Fields killing some clock. 8-second differential, game clock and shot clock. Starts the pick and roll, pulls up, no good. Canada with the offensive board. Alexander, and they're gonna call the travel. You can hear the booing and whistling in the crowd. We'll see if we get another look at that one. Hard to see where the feet were moving in that sea of players under the hoop, but it looked for a moment like Canada had an and one to potentially tie the game. Now Japan with the ball. 10 seconds left in the third, up 3. Yamamoto gets a screen and finds a lane to drive. Amihere contests the shot, and it rolls off the side of the rim. Canada will rebound it and end the third. They gain a point on Japan, winning this quarter, but still trail by 3. 10 minutes to go, and if Canada can get on top, they'll be in Paris in 2024. Stick around for the fourth quarter on Sportsnet. Pascal Siakam returns to Toronto this Wednesday as the Raptors host the Pacers. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Sportsnet 1. In Chopron, Canada and Japan separated by 3 points. It's 70-67 Japan. The winner of this game will go to Paris in 2024 to play in the Olympics, and the loser will have to wait for the result of the second game to see if they still make it in. In Canada's case, that would be, if they lost this game, a Spain win would still get them into the Olympics. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Olympian Miranda Iam, driving the right side. Miyazaki makes a bucket there. That was what she was doing all day in the first quarter. And Japan is up 5, and notably Canada without right now Shea Colley or Natalie Achanwa, both with 4 fouls. What are you looking for, or who are you looking for to step up for Canada in their absence?
Absolutely, that's a big hole, and we know we've been wanting to get to our posts all day, but that also requires our guards to step up in some areas. They're overplaying Bridget Carleton.
And that shot put up after the shot clock, so that'll be a violation.
But Canada can use Bridget Carleton almost as a decoy, if you will. That doesn't mean she's going to be any less aggressive, but that knows that she's going to anticipate drawing a lot of people. That means a simple maybe lob pass down to the post or a kick out to someone else who then is required to knock down that shot for Canada.
Canada's hit a handful of threes in this game. Carleton with a pair. Japan trying to get it into the post to Takada. Now it's Miyazaki bouncing to a Kaho, whose 2-point shot rolls off the rim, and it's a rebound for Sammy Hill. Canada's led a couple times, but never by more than 2 in this game. 10 on the shot clock. Fields. Canada has to get something going here. Only 5 to shoot. Fields is going to take it herself into the key, and she's fouled. But the Canadians on back-to-back possessions really not having a ton going on in the first 10, 12 seconds of the shot clock.
Yeah, we're not seeing a lot of rhythm or settled flow on an offensive side for Canada, which means that Japan is doing a really great job defensively, pushing them out of the spaces that they want. You can see they're wanting to get it into the post, but that's not open. So cuts, drives, just like we saw from Naira Fields there, at least loosening it up and getting to the free throw line.
And very important, that was the 4th foul on Mai Takada, one of the leading players on this Japanese team. So while Canada has 2 of their starters on the bench in foul trouble, Japan now has one of their key players sitting on the bench as well. Both free throws are good for Fields. It's a 3-point game again. Highest scoring game of the tournament so far for Naira Fields. 15 points, that is. Miyazaki drives and kicks. Yamamoto didn't want the 3. And now Mowley faked the handoff, trying to drive in, and there's a foul going against Fields. It'll be the 3rd foul on Naira Fields today. The inbounder Miyazaki cutting inside, kick once again, wide open Evelyn Mowley, and she cashes in her 3rd 3-pointer of the day. Japan up 6. Fields to respond. Bounces off the rim, and Japan pursues it before it goes over the baseline. Miyazaki heating up, hands it off to Mowley. Back to Miyazaki again. Mowley screen. She cuts toward the hoop. They get it inside to Mowley, and a foul there is going to go against Fields. That'll be her 4th. Or pardon me, that'll be Colley, and that'll be her 5th. She is done today. She's fouled out of the game.
That is tough for Canada. Again, Japan doing a really great job forcing that switch, which is a lot of those fouls recently for Canada have been with that mismatch on the guard and people coming down and having to help.
Inbound pass to Yoshida in the corner. Driving to the middle and looking for a Kaho in the post. She bumps Hill, fades away. Shot no good, offensive rebound. Mowley, 3 up right away, and it's off the heel of the rim and into the hands of Naira Fields. Sammy Hill just checked back in after Shea Colley fouled out. High screen, but she doesn't use it. Behind the back, Hill into the key. Turning and trying to feed Alexander, deflected back to her, 10 to shoot. Carleton, 6 to shoot. And there's going to be a foul on Akaho, which helps out Canada in 2 ways, because now there'll be 14 seconds on the shot clock.
This is another crucial moment for Canada here, Ben, because you don't want to play down to the wire with a team like Japan who can easily put up three-point shots.
Canada right now calling a timeout, having a discussion here with 7 minutes left. Down by 6 and a potential Olympic berth on the line here in Chopra. Late stages of a huge game for Canada. Win this game and they are in Paris. Down by 6 right now though to Japan with the basketball. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Olympian Miranda Iam. Canada doesn't win, they have to rely on help. A win from Spain over Hungary would also send Canada to Paris. Bridget Carleton and one from the left elbow. She's fired up, and Canada is right back in it.
Canada also has Natalia Chanwa back on the floor, which I think will give them a bit of energy, a bit of consistency, and that veteran presence on the floor at a moment like this as well.
If you weren't with us throughout the game, Shea Colley, the starting point guard, has fouled out of the game, and Achanwa had 4 fouls in the third quarter, so she has sat for a while. Canada's hung around in their absence, and now it's going to be a foul on Sammy Hill inside, grabbing Stephanie Malu. So Achanwa is playing with 0 margin for error at this point, but with only 7 minutes left in the Olympic qualifying tournament, you don't really have a choice. You have to go play her. Miyazaki with 14 points in the game. Driving left has the center Alexander on her. Hands off. Alexander switches to Mowley, who steps by her but missed the layup falling away. Alexander was with her the whole time. Fields into the key. Draws some contact. And there's going to be a foul on Japan on that play.
This game might come down to who has the least amount of fouls and who's knocking down their free throws and where are those fouls being called. There were a few questionable calls in the third quarter that might have put Canada where they are right now.
And in a 5 foul out game, 1 foul is a huge deal. Hill driving the baseline, she scoops it in. It's a 1-point game. Sammy Hill with 5 points off the bench. Or make it 6. Mowley in the middle, dangerous from 3. Passes to her sister, Stephanie Mowley with the layup. And Japan extends their lead back to 3.
You can see Natalia Chanwa coming to help, but not swiping for that foul because Canada needs her in the game.
They need her on offense specifically, too. She's facilitating a ton for them. Drives to the hoop, but Fields holds onto the ball, 6 to shoot. Now she finds Achanwa. Shot clock running down. Have to get something going toward the rim. Hill for 3 at the buzzer. It does glance off the rim, but they're going to say out of bounds, and immediately Achanwa asking for a review. Discussion by the referees, and they overturn it as Achanwa had clearly reestablished herself. She was pushed out of bounds for a moment, but got back in.
Yeah, all you need is your 2 feet back into the court, and you should be good. And it looks like they reviewed and agreed.
So Canada keeps the ball down 3. Close to the midway point of this fourth quarter. They're looking for Carleton off the inbound. They go to Alexander. Spinning in the post. Her shot no good. Hands on the rebound. It's still up for grabs. And Evelyn Mowley comes down with it. 5-on-4 for Japan right now. Alexander still scrambling back. Mowley pass to the open player Yoshida. And now it's 5-on-5 again. Yoshida bounced to the post. Mismatch. Mowley gets around Hill and scores. Hill, the guard, had to switch on there when Alexander had fallen down in the front court. And it's a 5-point Japan advantage.
Scrambling defense is certainly to Japan's advantage here.
Evelyn Mowley with 21 points now the other way, and 1! Kayla Alexander! Canada refusing to go away, and Alexander can make it a 2-point game at the line.
Finishing with a whole bunch of pressure and hands all over her there.
Double-double for Alexander in a 3rd straight game. She has 13 points and 10 rebounds.
No surprise there. She's been very, very consistent, not just in this tournament, the last few tournaments.
She hits the free throw, making 14 points for the 33-year-old center. And now Mai Takada is going to come back into the game on 4 fouls as well. Break for Canada here for a moment as Evelyn Mowley goes to the bench. She's the game's leading scorer with 21. Bridget Carlton for Canada, close behind with 19. Is Yoshida for Japan. Pass to Akaho, trying to drive out of Chanwa, who's playing considerably off her, not trying to give up that 5th foul. Yamamoto out of the corner. Yoshida drives baseline, missed the shot. Good defense without fouling by Achanwa. Canada can tie or take the lead. Fields right to the hoop, hesitates and scores. We're tied with 4.5 minutes remaining. Myra Fields clutching up in this second half. Yoshida on the drive, and Hill keeps her in front of her. Now in the corner, Takada back up top, 10 to shoot for Japan. Yamamoto drives left. Fields contesting, shot no good. Rebound at Chanwa.
Great opportunity for Canada to slow it down, as you see here. Get a basket here, get another stop, and extend that lead at this point in the game.
Achanwa going to the post, pass too high for Carlton. She's saying deflection. I think Achanwa thought that Carlton was cutting toward the hoop with the pass. A little bit of miscommunication turns it over.
Might have even been a little bit of a push underneath the basket there too.
Akaho, Yoshida coming out of the game. Miyazaki back in, and Stephanie Mowley back in as well. We've played 36 minutes and 3 seconds of basketball, and we are right back where we started, 79-79, with a guaranteed trip to Paris on the line. Loser has to wait for the result of the next game. Mowley to Miyazaki, the two who just subbed in. They're trying to get it to the post to Mowley, who has the guard Hill on her. Miyazaki to the wing. Mowley still getting position. Yamamoto drives left, missed the runner, rebound at Chanwa. And even I'm starting to get the feeling in the stomach. 3.5 minutes to go. This game has been so back and forth.
Well, we knew a game like this was going to go down to the wire with these great teams here.
Achanwa bounces it off one knee. Carlton with the pull-up at the end of the shot clock. No good. Alexander tips it twice, but Mowley comes down with it. No one there to help Alexander. Silas Swords guards the ball. Miyazaki drives around her and scores with the left. Japan in front with 3 minutes to go. Hill drives to the left elbow, turns it back. They have a switch. Achanwa has a size advantage under the hoop. Can they find her? Carlton gonna take it to the rim. Now to Achanwa, 3 to shoot. They have to go, and Achanwa puts it up at the end of the shot clock, but it never hit the rim. That's gonna be a violation against Canada, Japanese ball.
It's a great opportunity for Canada to come together, huddle, get on the same page so they can get that stop that they need on the other side. They gotta know, Canada, they gotta know that Japan is probably going to go to that ball, high ball screen that has been working so well for them throughout the game today.
Yeah, they keep going with the high ball screen, and then one of the Mowley sisters is behind their defender, arm extended, looking for that over-the-top pass.
Absolutely.
Miyazaki. Takada went to screen, but instead they do a handoff. And now a screen left. Miyazaki to the wing. They go inside to Takada. Defense was there, but Takada scores over top of Fields. And that is going to bring a Canadian timeout. Down by 4, 2:19 to go. Still a lot to be decided. Will Canada go to Paris? We'll find out when we come back. Under 2.5 minutes to go, and a burst by Japan recently has given them a 4-point lead. The Canadians tied the game about a minute ago, but Victor LaPena and his team coming out of a timeout, needing some buckets and some stops here against this really tough Japanese offense. Carleton inbounds, Sammy Hill carrying it up. Shea Cauley, the starting point guard, is fouled out of the game. Canada with two bigs on the floor, and Amihere and Alexander. They go down low to Amihere. Back up top, Hill drives the middle of the floor. Right-handed layup, no good, but she was fouled. I believe that one goes against Stephanie Mowley. And Sammy Hill to the line, or no, it could be Takata, and if so, that would be her night done. It is. So Maki Takata, pardon me, has fouled out of the game, and that could be momentum shifting for Canada.
It is a great sit by Japan for Canada, but they're just bringing in another great offensive player, unfortunately, who's going to be doing some great work for Japan on the other side. So no rest for the weary there.
Yeah, Evelyn Mowley comes in, who is leading the game in scoring with 21 points. Hill's second free throw is good. She has 7 points. Canada in a one-possession game with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Winner goes to Paris. Corner three, short. Canada with the rebound and a chance to tie. Canadians today 3 for 11 from three, 27%. Fields with one, making Carleton with two from the outside, but they go inside to Amihere, who gets called for the travel. Pivoted, put the ball down. What'd you see?
It's tough on those calls with the posts there, but they're going to go for it there. And Amihere is out as well. 139, still a lot of time for Canada here. Not the time to panic, time to get a solid stop and a three on the other side, or a quick two.
Japan got the switch, but Canada wisely switched it back. Achanwa back on Mowley, and guarding the ball, Hill is on Miyazaki. 6 to shoot. Japan's probably going to have to force one up from three here. Mowley steps inside, and her free throw line jumper is too strong. It's a rebound for Alexander. 1:10 to go. You don't need a three, but a three would tie. Achanwa double dribble. She dribbled right, pivoted, and put it back down on the floor going left. 2 turnovers for Canada here in a tough spot in the final 2 minutes.
Again, we've been talking all tournament, Ben, about the small details that add up, especially at the end of a game like this. But they can come back on the other side with a solid, again, another rebound here.
Following this game, Spain and Hungary coming up on Sportsnet 1. If Canada loses, they need a Spain win to make the Olympics. Final minute. Miyazaki drives inside, steps back out. Now going in again and kicks it up kind of to no one. Scooped off the floor by Yamamoto, who somehow flips it in. Japan by 5 with 40 seconds to go. Clutch bucket, Yamamoto. Field steps into a three, too strong, offensive rebound, and one! Kayla Alexander! Just what Canada needed to stick around in this game. They're down 3 and 1 free throw away from making it a 2-point game.
That's what they mean by playing to the very last minute. You never know, even when you're throwing up a shot like that, getting those rebounds and getting that putback and to the line, making a big difference at this last 30 seconds.
So let's say Alexander makes it. Are you playing straight up defense and getting the ball with 5-6 seconds left, or do you want to foul here?
I'm the wrong person to ask. I love defending on my defense, especially when Canada has been such a high defensive team. They can get those tips.
Well, the decision was made for them. The free throw missed, and they call a foul here on Leticia Amihere. That's going to bring a Canadian, or pardon me, a Japanese timeout. They have the ball up by 3 with just under 28 seconds to go. At this point, do you have to foul?
If they don't have a lot of time. They want to put the odds in their favor and get down, especially when it's 3-point differential and things haven't been falling for Canada here. Can't rely on on hitting that 3 with a little bit amount of time. So put the odds in your favor, get a twofer.
Yeah, I mean, you can, the two choices essentially are there's 28 seconds left. They probably don't run all 24 off the clock, but close to it, and Japan puts up a 3. You have to rebound, get up the floor, and hoist a 3 in probably 5-6 seconds. Or you foul maybe as soon as you go for a steal off a pass and then foul right away. It does give Japan the opportunity to potentially go 5, but it extends the game for Canada.
But the clincher for all of this is really, first, defensively, making sure that you can actually get that possession, whether it is through the foul or through some solid defense.
And this bucket, the crucial one, and it wasn't really to the fault of Canada. There was a pass thrown essentially nowhere. It was just tossed in the middle of the floor, and Yamamoto happened to be right there on the spot to pick it up and still had to make, Canada still recovered to contest, still had to make a very tough shot over top of Kayla Alexander. Canadians bring everyone into the front court, looking for a steal off the inbound pass. Japan gets it in.
Looks like they're not going for the foul.
Yeah, let's see if they can play some straight up defense here. 4-second differential game clock, shot clock. And now they do foul, so 12 seconds run off the clock, and now Mai Yamamoto heads to the line. Japan has been near perfect at the free throw line today. 18 for 19, 95%.
Big free throw for Japan here.
First one good, and that makes it a 2-possession game with 16 seconds remaining. Yamamoto's second bounces out, 4-point game. Hill sprints toward the rim, missed the layup, rebound up for grabs, it's out of bounds. And it looks like they're going to take a look at this call. Didn't see a clear signal from an official.
Looks like there's a sub there as well. Is that Ace Koenig?
And they are going to review it, so we'll hear from the referees now with the call on the floor and what the review is concerning.
Well, based on what looks like might be a substitution on Canada's side, depending on this call, looks like they're trying to get their three-point specialist in there, which is a little bit tough at this point in the game when they haven't been playing, haven't been warm.
So the call on the floor is Canada ball, and it looks like Miyazaki did knock the ball away from Amahir and over the sideline. Let's see Amahir going for it, and then the right hand. Oh, but you do also see one of the fingers of Amahir flex back a little bit.
Good eyes there, Ben. I was just seeing.
So this is a tough one right now. Let's hear what the referees have to say.
So it's so close.
Not a lot of discussion from them right now, but
So we got the same. So red calls the ball to go out of bounds, go white ball.
so it will stick with Canada, and that keeps the hope alive, at least for now. Pretty major thing with the missed free throw, by the way, by Mai Yamamoto. If Canada is able to get it in and hit a three quickly, they can foul, and even if Japan makes both free throws, it's a 3-point game at that point. So that's a lot of things going right, but it became a lot more possible for Canada to tie this game when that free throw was missed than it would have been if Yamamoto hit both.
Absolutely.
Ace Koenig into the game to inbound for Canada. She's a sharpshooter. Watch for a pass back to the inbounder. They go to Alexander. Back to Koenig. fires from 3, and it's a little too long. Japan with the rebound. They will hold, and the game is over. Japan has qualified for Paris 2024, and Canada will have to wait and watch. Spain and Hungary about to play, and if Spain wins, Canada can qualify. If Hungary wins, they will not go to Paris. These have to be some anxious moments after what was really a hard-fought game.
Absolutely, a really tough loss for Canada here. Well deserved by Japan, but tough loss for Canada. You never want to be in a position at the end of a tournament like this to have to depend on someone else to give your ticket. Obviously, the feeling and the elation, you want the celebration, but ultimately you want that within your control. And unfortunately, with the results of today's game for Canada, they're going to have to wait around. They're going to be waiting in the stands. They'll probably take a quick shower, get a debrief, and then come back out to watch the next game versus Japan versus Hungary coming up.
Spain and Hungary coming up. Spain has also qualified now for 2024 with this win by Japan, because the worst Spain could be is 1-2, and in a tie with Canada, they would win the head-to-head. Today, Canada with a lot of key performers. Kayla Alexander with 16 and 14 rebounds. Bridget Carlton with 19. Naira Fields with 17. But the foul trouble that Japan created for Canada was a huge part of it. Natalie Achanwa had 10 points in the first half, ended with 12 because she couldn't play a ton in the second half, and Shea Colley fouled out early in the fourth quarter. How big of a deal do you think that was for Canada?
Absolutely. There's definitely going to be some heartbreak individually and collectively on Canada's side. You see some of the celebrations by Japan over here. Tough to watch when you've just had that. Tough for me even watching right here at the desk. You can feel it at home, and this is going to be a moment to reflect on some of those missed opportunities, because honestly, there were some missed opportunities that Canada gave away to Japan, even though obviously Japan, a excellent team, definitely meriting everything that's going on right here. So waiting. I have a feeling it's going to be a bit of a quiet locker room behind doors.
Yeah, I can imagine. In Japan right now, the silver medalists from the 2020 Olympics have their big boarding pass right there. They are booked for Paris in 2024, as is Spain. Still the chance for Canada or Hungary on the line, as Spain and Hungary are going to play here coming up in just a little bit on Sportsnet 1. And we don't know the fate of Canada yet, but I'd be remiss if we didn't mention the great play of Kayla Alexander all tournament. She double-doubled in every single game, and if Canada ends up qualifying for the Olympics, she could very well be the unofficial MVP of the team in these 3 games.
Absolutely. You got to recognize due where due is deserved. And even though their destiny is not in their hands right now, they played a great tournament. They played a tough game today, and hopefully they'll be able to take those lessons into what will hopefully, fingers crossed, be an Olympic tournament, depending on the next game coming up.
So again, Spain and Hungary coming up in just a little bit. If Spain wins, Canada is in the Olympics. If Hungary wins, Hungary is in the Olympics, and Canada will not qualify. Japan right now celebrating, as you said, a very, very well-deserved ticket booked to Paris. They played very, very well today, and they won the game 86-82 on some really, really strong shooting and some great play inside as well, which we weren't expecting. Really appreciate you tuning in today, and stick around because Canada's fate is still on the line. We'll have coverage of Spain and Hungary coming up on Sportsnet 1, but now to discuss this game, here is Danielle and Shern.